Hi guys, it's the Covert Crow, and it's only fitting that I have on my Ray-Ban Aviators, a classic in eyewear that's been around for a long time. But that's not what we're here for. We're here to talk about an icon in the military aviation watch world, and that is the Hamilton Khaki Field Officer 44 millimeter. So what we'll do is, there's so much history there, as this company is over 100 years old, yes, over a century years old. And of course they started out in Philadelphia, Lancaster I believe it was, and then they eventually moved to Switzerland. But they've been making timepieces forever. But this is a special piece. It is to me, and I'm hoping to share that story with you as I go over a quick review. I'll go over the specs, we'll look at the case, we'll look at the dial, complication, the movement, the strap, and of course the value of this watch. And if you're in the market for one, I would highly suggest going out and getting it. A wow moment, what's on wrist, a legend in watchmaking, Speedmaster, the Omega Speedmaster Professional. This is the 145022-69. It's a vintage piece, gorgeous, and a staple in my collection. So like I mentioned, Hamilton's been around for over a century, and they have made several different styles of pocket watch and wrist watches over the years. The Hamilton Khaki series has played a big part, as it was at one time the Hamilton brand was a sponsor to aviation, to a number of airlines, dating back to the 1960s I believe it was. Yep. They are of a timeless design, legible, easy to read with analog dials and easy numerals. This particular model, reference 706-25133, 44 millimeters. Let's talk about the case. We're looking at a 44 millimeter stainless steel, polished as well as brushed stainless steel. We have a large crown which is signed at the 3 o'clock position, and it is very robust and very easy to turn. It's just wonderful to handle. We have a 22 millimeter lug width. We have a lug to lug of 53.5 millimeters, and we have a very modest and sharp 11.5 millimeter. Very slim for a watch of this size at 44 millimeter. It has the sapphire crystal, and it also has the exhibition case pack, which is awesome to show off that beautiful movement, as we can try to zoom in there for you. There she goes. And of course, we are looking at a 100 meter water resistance, which is fair when it comes to basically an aviation style watch, an officer's watch. I mean, just in case you end up getting into water for some reason, you know that you may have that resistance to protect it. But is it something you may want to take off because, of course, that gorgeous leather strap, you don't want to have chlorine getting into it or ocean water getting into it? Yeah, it might be something that you may choose to do. So the dial, we're looking at a black dial for this model in particular. It's analog. It has an easy to read and very functional dial, showing you the 12 and 24 hour time indices. It has the date complication at the 3 o'clock position, and it has a 3-hand complication involving the hours, minutes, and a beautiful sweeping seconds hand. And I always love the large seconds hand, as you can see it rotating around that dial. It's like the heartbeat of the watch, showing off that movement as the hand sweeps past the markers and accurately shows you the second movement. So that's just great. The movement itself is the H10 caliber movement, which is fantastic. It is a modified ETA movement, 2824, and it runs at 21,600 vibrations per hour. So what they've done is they've lowered and put a more efficient movement in to allow for a greater power reserve. So this has a whopping 80-hour power reserve. Talk about fantastic. You put her down on the nightstand for a couple days or so and put something else on, and bam, she's still running and keeping time. The strap itself, beautiful, soft leather, signed Hamilton strap. This one here particularly 22 millimeters, of course, to match the lug width. But it is great. A nice deep chocolate brown, and has that beautiful accent white stitching, as you can see. The value for the watch, we're looking at around $500 to $700, depending on the market and the area in which you're from. But as far as a beautiful, elegant, yet functional aviation military timepiece, value for dollar, I don't think you can get much better than that for a beautiful automatic watch. That's going to last you a long time, and very robust and strong, and offers quite a lot for what you're going to be paying. With its simple complication, the date window at 3 o'clock, and not too many other things to worry about other than just telling the time, and quite rapidly for that matter because of the visibility. Its simplicity and the elegance at its best. I think Hamilton hit the mark with this design. Some may argue that the 44 is a little bit bigger, and of course it's for each person. It's for every person. It's subjective. So I know it does come out in 38 millimeters, 42 millimeters, and whatnot. So it's to each his own, whichever preference you choose. If you check the website, I know that Hamilton has a very close working relationship in Hollywood, and that it's been responsible for putting Hamilton watches in over 500 motion pictures. 500 motion pictures. Seriously. I don't know how they catalog or where that reference information is, but damn, that's something else. Anyway, wow, that stat is pretty impressive. Two that come to mind specifically with regards to the Hamilton Khaki automatic is Interstellar with Matthew McConaughey, and what I believe his model was the Day-Date. Correct me if I'm wrong. And the second was The Martian with Matt Damon, in which Matt did a great job with his portrayal of the astronaut who was stranded on Mars. And I believe it was a sport model, Hamilton Khaki, that was used in that particular model, or that particular show or movie. But yeah, it's one of those things where I think it's pretty fabulous when you have these wonderful timepieces being used in motion picture, right? Because they want to have a reflection of what's being used in real life, and some of these timepieces are what people are wearing as everyday pieces. So that's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. So that's the Hamilton Khaki 44 millimeter officer's watch in a small and quick review. It's a great timepiece. It's timeless, and it's something that I think that any collector or any person or enthusiast would enjoy having in their collection. Do me a favor and like, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell icon because there's going to be more content coming, and we'll see you on the next one. This is the Covert Crow. Ciao.